We'll now have a question answer session which will be moderated by Lieutenant General Ashok Kapoor. Before I invite Lieutenant General Kapoor, I request our volunteers to collect the questions that the audience will have. You can send your questions later on also, but if you could have the initial questions, and you can pass it on to Lieutenant General Kapoor and he'll moderate the session. Sir, if I may invite you.
I, who raised the budget for modernization of the police force, not by a multiple of 2, not by a multiple of 4, but by a multiple of 10 in 1 year. I think we have great faith in our police. The only thing is that the police should also act in the interest of the people. That is all the feeling together. But I agree with you that they should be accorded a pride of place. But they have certainly a great relevance to good governance. Yes. Raina Mahapatra, I agree with you that the trickle-up economics should be tried, should have been tried. It is possible. It is possible. You see, it is not enough to put money in the banks and say that everybody will get it. What is necessary is to help the small entrepreneur. This has been done in so many countries, and they have shown better results so far as human development indices are concerned. I'll give you the example of 2 of our neighbors. Sri Lanka has done better than us in human development indices. Bangladesh has done slightly better than us. They didn't start with the first, this thing is growth. You see, there are 2 options. One is either you go for growth or you go for distribution. I'm not saying either. What I'm saying is we go for growth, but we go for inclusive growth. The growth of the small man, the growth of the big man. If we had put our emphasis on the small man, the small scale industry, the small entrepreneur, the small artisan, the small farmer. You know, what is in crisis today is the Indian agriculture. When I was young like you, I was working in the district. That was in 60s. And we had the great green revolution at that time. I want to speak about this great green revolution because this was before you were born and your professors were born. In the 60s, you know, that was a time, Dr. Gurpur, that was a time when we didn't have enough production of wheat or rice. And what did we do? We imported. We imported from where? We imported from America. We imported under what is known as Public Law 480, PL 480. And what was PL 480? PL 480 was doles. We were like, beggars. That we said, please give us cheap wheat. And they gave us cheap wheat, which was substandard. We had eaten that wheat. For years, we were dependent totally on this imported wheat from America. We used to say that we are existing from ship to mouth. Yes, we ship to mouth. And suddenly what happened in 3 years in the 1960s? We, with no help from anywhere else, created this green revolution. It was done by politicians of that time. They were not the politicians like this. By the bureaucrats of that time and the scientists of that time. It was based on the new technology, the technology of better seed, better fertilizers and water. And in 3 years' time, we became self-sufficient. Self-sufficient. We were so proud of it. Incidentally, now that I must tell you, that the youth are today averse to joining politics. Now they have started, but they are generally averse to joining politics. It was not always so. The youth like you were in the vanguard of the freedom struggle. And even after India became independent, they continued to be in political arena. They joined the electoral politics. In the first Lok Sabha, which was elected in 1952, there were 26.3 members of parliament who were in the age group of 25 to 40 youth. More than 1/4 of the Lok Sabha was young. And then in the second Lok Sabha, it increased to 32%. 1/3 of the Lok Sabha was young, 25 to 40 years of age. Then it started going down. And today, in the present Lok Sabha, there are only 6% youth as members of parliament, only 6%. Why has this happened? It's a mystery. But I can fathom only one reason, and that was that immediately after independence, Mahatma Gandhi said to the youth, now is the time to go back to your studies and careers. So they went back. Yes, civil society have a very assigned role. As I said, that civil society, this is a question which has been asked by Ashutosh, the civil society was expected to strengthen the governance. Civil society was expected to call the bureaucrats or the political leaders to question that, sir, you are not doing this properly. But the civil society, as I said, is very weak. They're fragmented. PCTT is working separately. My Center for Governance is working separately. Symbiosis is working separately. We should all work together. If we all work together, then there will be a credible civil society. Then it will create what is known as social capital. Social capital is a very good concept. You must tell these students about the social capital. So that social capital has not been established in our country. Yes. This question is, it's an interesting question about what is happening in Delhi. Mahesh Deshmukh says that what is happening between the Chief Minister and the Lieutenant Governor. Well, interesting. I think this is a textbook case. This is a case study in governance. This is a case study in the understanding. I won't blame Arvind Kejriwal. Arvind Kejriwal has been working with me in the Center for Governance. He worked with me for 4 years. I was a great admirer of Arvind Kejriwal. But let me complete. Why was I an admirer of Arvind Kejriwal? I was an admirer because of what he had done. What he had done before he joined politics. That young man, for almost 10 years, worked relentlessly in the interest of the people, in the interest of the poor, in the interest of the marginalized, in the interest of the deprived. He took leave from his department, income tax department, and he started living in the resettlement colonies, the Jhuggi Jhopdi colonies of Delhi. He made a small office there, thatched roof. He took me there and he said, sir, this is what we are doing. What he was doing was right to information. What PCTT is, they have a cell for right to information. It was the year 2004. The Right to Information Act, the Central Act hadn't come in force, but the State Act was there. The Delhi State Act, RTI Act was there, and he started working under that RTI Act. And he helped, I think, thousands of people, thousands of families through RTI. He became a legend. He was worshipped. He was worshipped by the youth, the poor. He came to me and he said, I want to join politics. I was with him in the India Against Corruption. Then he came in 2012, I think. He said that I want to join politics. I said, don't join politics. I said, politics is for the youth, but not for you. You have become the face of social reform in this country. You just won the Magsaysay Award. He said, you will be losing yourself there. We'll be losing a champion of non-government movement. You are the face of anti-corruption in this country. You must exert pressure on the government from outside. He said, no, sir. I want to do it from inside. I said, all right. Do what you like. I don't know today, if he comes to me again, I will ask him, where is your Parivartan, the NGO? The Parivartan which took him to such heights, where is it? We don't hear about Parivartan at all. Where is your fight for transparency, RTI? Has he done anything in transparency when he was Chief Minister? That is why I say I was his admirer. I still wish, he's a good man. I still wish that he succeeds. Because if he doesn't succeed, it will be a setback for the youth. I don't want that to happen. I would say, please succeed. In fact, I want both of them, Mr. Narendra Modi and Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, to succeed. So, the CM and the Lieutenant Governor, I think this is an unnecessary battle. Unnecessary, totally unnecessary. Shri Arvind Kejriwal doesn't understand the Constitution. You should read the Constitution. The Constitution says very simply what is the status of the government in Delhi. Very clearly it says. He doesn't understand this. If today, if he sits with the Lieutenant Governor, if he sits with the Prime Minister and tries to solve things for the people of Delhi, he can still do it. This sort of a confrontation is not required. Difference of opinion, yes. Take this sentence. Difference of opinion, yes. Confrontation, not necessary. Not necessary. What needs to be done to accelerate the quality of governance? Faculty. Well, I can write a book on it. Yes. The quality of governance depends on so many things. But the quality of governance depends primarily on changing the mindset of people in governance. The mindset of the people is still somewhere else. The mindset of the IAS officers. They are so ensconced in their comfort. They're totally sheltered. And therefore, there's no sense of urgency for them. I don't know whether Mr. Krishnan agrees with me. There's no sense of urgency for us, for the IPS officers and for the IAS officers. We are doing our job. We are doing our job truthfully. We are doing our job properly. But the sense of urgency should be there to change the things, to change the system. That is why we need the youth. Change the system. Come and change the system. But try to I have some advice for the youth. I'll come to that sometime if there is time left. What is the criterion? As I said, you see, for flawed democracy, there are 5 points, as I said. If one of them are missing, for example, if the civil liberties are not there, then it's a flawed democracy. Rest of them are there. The free and fair elections are there, the government is functioning all right, but civil liberties are not given. Civil liberties are given by law. Civil liberties are given by the Constitution. If they are not given, it is flawed democracy. In Indian case, why was it treated as a flawed democracy? I think it was because of the deficiencies in the political culture. Our political culture, no political party is transparent. All political parties together have filed a writ in the Supreme Court saying that RTI should not apply to them. Their accounts are not audited. There are no inter-party elections. Except for the Communist Party, there are no elections. In the BJP, there are no elections. In the Congress, there are no elections. Two major parties. So it is the political system, political culture, and that is perhaps why it was ranked as a flawed democracy. Again, the same thing, how do we ensure accountability of the people in power? It can be done either by changing your own mindset or by compulsion, by law, by the stick. We haven't tried either. We haven't even tried the stick. How do you want youth to begin the process of creating a new future? I have two quick suggestions. One is for you, if you take it, and that is that if you really want to act in the public sphere or in politics, go to politics later. Start doing work before that, as Arvind Kejriwal did, as Jayaprakash Narayan did. They're two living examples before you. What they did was to do something in the society. What I urge you is to do a project of community building. Whatever you want to do. There are hundreds and thousands of small experiments being done. There are experiments being done in education, in healthcare, in empowerment of women, in water conservation, so many things. Near about Pune, you have an organization here which is working on groundwater. There is one Mr. Kulkarni, he is working there. Find out what he is doing. He met me only day before yesterday, and he said that he was going to a village near Pachkani, and he was going to tell them about groundwater. The community working for groundwater. Now this is an example, and there are so many. Around Pune there are so many, I can tell you. Just do some work for those good people, good NGOs who are doing these work. What you can do? You can conduct the local surveys. You can compile information. You can provide IT solutions to them. Do this. It will give you a lot of satisfaction. And the other suggestion I would say is blow the whistle. Easy. Where you live, there is such a shortage of justice in this country. And I'm not talking only of justice which is dispensed by the courts. I'm talking of the injustice which is there in the society. So, my request is, wherever you see a miscarriage of justice in society, blow the whistle. It may be a worker who's being harassed by his employer, a domestic worker, or maybe an industrial worker. It may be doctors not attending to their patients in the hospitals. It may be teachers not teaching their students. It may be policemen protecting the mafia. blow the whistle. You can do it. It will give you confidence. It will give you confidence that you are working for those people against whom injustice is being done. There are others also. There are so many things that you can do. I'm carrying these and I'll try to answer them and send it to Dr. Gurpur. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for being so candid and taking all the questions. We'll now have concluding remarks by Mr. S.C. Nagpal, Chairman PCTT. May I invite Mr. Nagpal on the dais?
I won't test your patience. I am only here just to say that Mr. Prabhat Kumar's lecture was like a lecture in your classroom. He made you understand the very mechanics of governance and how it includes democracy and youth to be active in it. I am grateful to him for having come to you, and it adds to the luster of your course in Symbiosis Law School. Mrs. Gurpur must be thanked to have brought you all here.
That I couldn't see their faces. These lights should have been on that side.
Okay, Mrs. Gurpur has a job on hand next time. I am here only to add to some of the things, just small things. Because one of the questions is addressed to PCTT. He says, how can the youth help in contributing towards PCTT? Yes, as Mr. Kumar said just now, and Mrs. Gurpur also told you in the beginning, PCTT has done several programs with you, with Symbiosis. And it is the suggestion of Dr. Majumdar himself that all our programs should be conducted jointly with educational institutions, whether it is Symbiosis or any other. And for your information, we have joint programs with 11 institutions in Pune. All our programs are held in educational institutions. Only one program was done with police and another program was done with Ruby Hall Hospital. All other programs have been with educational institutions alone because we want to pass on our message as per Dr. Majumdar to the youth of this country. So we have a scope for having interns to come and join for a month or two as maybe sponsored by the educational institutions, and Symbiosis is one of them, and so that we can send them to take up a few projects which are initiation into governance, go to various offices, see how people are being harassed, if they are being harassed, if their job is being done in a limited sphere of time or it is taking longer than that and they are being harassed to come again and again and again. All that work needs to be done. There are so many centers of corruption in this city also which need to be highlighted, need to be brought to the notice of the people. And we want young people to come and help us in that. More important, PCGT has had a tie-up with an arrangement with India International Center, New Delhi, which will add to the breadth of our work here in Pune. It will not only be related to governance, it will be related to so many things like exhibitions, lectures, films, documentaries, exhibitions, all kinds of things which are going to broaden your vision. We will have a number of brochures and tracts available on the subjects which have been dealt with in India International Center, Delhi, and in fact the spate of speakers who are going to come next in PCTT are all coming through India International Center. For example, Mr. Pratap Bhanu Mehta has agreed to deliver next year's B.G. Deshmukh Memorial Lecture. He has come through India International Center. Professor Dipankar Gupta is also coming from there. Mr. Soli Surabji is coming from there. Justice Ajit Prakash Shah is also coming from there. So we are going to give you a gamut of great speakers, great people who have made a name for themselves to come and speak to you and people like you in various other institutions. And therefore, we would like to add to our repertoire by having people from your school as well as the nearby schools to come and be our force for conducting those studies and projects in this field. I would like to tell you that you have to only remember one thing. You are all, if some of you are not married already, some of you are going to get married soon. And there, in that ceremony, there is one very important thing known as Saptapadi, where the bride and the groom both have to take 7 steps together. They have to put their left foot and right foot equal to each other. Why? Because the underlying idea is, why it is being done? Because at that time they are young people, maybe raw people. They have not got maturity as yet, and they are going to become mature very soon. They are being taught that by thinking only from the heart, you may commit mistakes. And by thinking only from the head, you may become heartless. Therefore, you have to be equal. Your thought process has to be equal. It has to be 50% of head and 50% of heart. Then only the decisions that you take in life will be mature, worthwhile, balanced decisions. And that's where the role of students lies. You have to start practicing, rehearsing as to what can be the role of both head and the heart in taking your decisions in life. And that is where the lesson that has been given by Mr. Prabhat Kumar today in his lecture will be useful to all of you, and I am sure Mrs. Gurpur will have much reduced job on teaching if you apply all these things. Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Mr. Prabhat.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Nagpal espouses his cause quite emphatically, and it's always a delight to listen to him. I now invite our Deputy Director, Dr. Bindu Ronald, to propose the vote of thanks.
Distinguished guests on the dais and off the dais, as we come to the end of this session of the late Shri B.G. Deshmukh Memorial Lecture, jointly organized by the PCTT and Symbiosis Law School, Pune, I have to thank many who have ensured the success of this public lecture. I take this opportunity to thank our chief guest, Mr. Prabhat Kumar, for gracing this occasion and delivering the lecture on governance, democracy, governance, and youth. A very pertinent topic, a talk that has ignited the minds of everyone in the audience today. So this is the session or section of the society that will be the torchbearers of the India tomorrow. You have, through your lecture, acquainted them with what democracy is, what good governance should be, and what is their role in taking the country forward. We thank you for being with us here today and for igniting the minds of everyone. I thank Mr. Nagpal, Chairman, PCGT, Pune Chapter, for all the initiatives he has been taking in collaborating with Symbiosis Law School and co-organizing the public lecture series. An excellent speaker himself, so you have beautifully provided an insight into the life of Sir B.G. Deshmukh, and also for the concluding remarks that you provided. Thank you, Air Marshal Anil Kumar Trikha, for the introduction to PCGT and to this public memorial lecture. I also thank Lieutenant General Ashok Kapoor. Sir, our gratitude to you for moderating this question answer series session that was there held after the lecture. Padma Bhushan Dr. S.B. Majumdar, Chancellor, Symbiosis International University and founder and president Symbiosis, was expected to be here with us for this lecture, but unfortunately, he could not be here. We take the opportunity to put on record the support that we have been getting from him and place our appreciation. Dr.